Hi everyone, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story, and this is, you're not going to show up very well because of the glass here, but anybody following my channel has probably already seen this beautiful image by Anna. I always want to feel like I'm a slaughter her name, Torian. She's an artist who is on the internet, is known as Luna Solaire. She has Instagram, she has Facebook and things of that nature, and she's done a couple of decks already. She did the Claire de Lune Lenormand, and she also did the I say Ink Spot Tarot, and it's not that. I'm so bad about Deep Waters, which is out of print now, but she does the Claire de Lune Lenormand. She's working on Tarot of the Abyss, and she has recently done a beautiful Oracle of Echoes, and she had asked on her Facebook if there's any cards that people wanted to see in the deck, which I thought was an amazing thing. It allowed us, have some input. I was like, oh, she had shown a goddess energy, and I was like, oh, I hope there's God energy, and bam, she put out a God energy. And then I know Avalon put in a couple card ideas, and Anna, my friend Annika, and so I thought it was a really neat way to kind of pull the community in together, and she did it super quickly. Over 5 weeks, she was just churning out these gorgeous paintings, and it's just been a wonderful experience watching this deck grow in such a short period of time and being so absolutely stunning and full of light and shadow in a beautiful way. And I had sent her a black and white photograph that I had taken of my son, who's back by later 1819, his back had started to really curve from the weak side, his weak lung, and he had some rib deformities and weak lung on the right side, so things had started to shift and caused a lot of medical problems. But he had allowed me to take this beautiful black and white photograph of him, of his back, to illustrate the strength of the strength of the human body to keep shifting and morphing and trying, right, to do its best to support us. And it's a beautiful photograph for me that speaks of strength and the concept of imperfect beauty, which is a very important major lesson, which I have a video I'm doing on that whole thing, so I'm not going to go into it too far, but that's what I requested. I showed her the picture, or I just told her whole deck made me think of that, and she said, would you mind if I painted from that? And I said, oh yes, please, I would be honored. And this is what she did, which is absolutely stunning. And then she sent me, once everything was scanned, she sent me the original painting, and it's absolutely stunning. And she put this ocean in here. If you're subscribed to my Instagram, you'll see yesterday I put up a video of Michael running with seagulls flying, and then she put this little bird. So it was just, and I didn't even ask for that. She did that instinctively and intuitively, and it is just beyond perfect. And so this is one of the cards in her deck. And so again, I have a separate video I'm working on about imperfect video and more detail going into this, but because of all of this, and because of being able to watch her oracle deck be created, and talking to her constantly, I think I've become her #1 stalker harasser. No, sorry. Very sunny out, beautiful day. But anyways, I've been able to, I feel like we've really gotten to know each other, which has been a lot of fun. And when she got her tester deck in the mail, she's like, we were both all day, I'm like, did you get it? Did you go? Oh no, I'm waiting. Then she had to wait a whole another weekend, to get because it didn't get delivered. It was just very stressful for both of us. And so, she was trying to get a different card stock, and so she requested 2 more testers to be sent to her. And so when the 2 testers came in this week, I had already placed my pre-order for it, which is the first time I've ever pre-ordered a deck. And so I begged her to send me one of the tester decks. So without further ado, let's take a look at this. And Anna told me, I just sent her the picture that I got it this morning, and she said, I'm the very first person other than herself to have this in my hands. So excited. Okay, she wrapped it beautifully. This is my very first time I've ever ordered a pre-order. I always wait till they come out. But, of course, with this one, I did not do that. Okay, she's a good wrapper, apparently. There we go. Let me see. Oh, she got a letter for me. She's going to make me cry. I'm going to read this later. But thank you, Anna. That is very sweet. Okay, so this does the deck does not come with a little white book. However, it does come with a PDF of the guidebook. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can certainly see her marketing illustration past, but she has a beautiful guidebook for PDF download that you'll get a code for when you purchase the deck. And it is, you are able to, actually I don't know if I've downloaded the, yes, you can click on it and it will bring you to the actual card, which is really nice. And you can, of course, zoom it in. You can print it off as well. I'm just going to use it on here. I've read through this whole thing. I read through it and kind of did a little last string catching of any little bits and tweaks and things of that nature. So I have literally read through the entire guidebook, and it's really beautifully written. You've got the cards. Just look at that. You can just zoom in on the cards. I don't want to do too many like that because you're going to see the cards. But it's really a gorgeous guidebook. It can be printed, or like I said, you can just use it on your phone or on your on an iPad or something, or your computer. And so then you can, so if you want to go to a specific one, like, and these are not, I'm trying to remember. Yes, so they're alphabetical here. Nope, so she put them in a specific order. But because you can click on it, I'm trying to find, let me look, Imperfect Beauty. So here's Imperfect Beauty. You can click on it and... oops, maybe not. Oh, there we go. So then there's Imperfect Beauty. So you can, you know, get to them really quite easily. Although, you know, with Oracle decks, I don't tend to go back to guidebooks. I do read them through, which I've already done with this one. But I do tend to just, but we'll go ahead and read this one so you can have an example. Imperfect Beauty, which is Michael's card. Do not shy away from the dark moments, from the struggles of the night. Do not hide your imperfections, for these are reminders of your strength and your uniqueness in this world. Beauty can be imperfect, for within the scars lies proof of the battle. Be authentic, be open, be yourself. Below the sea and its exterior beauty hides a world that yearns for survival. It's all a matter of perspective and time. The only thing that can bring clarity to the imperfection that you are so desperate to conceal is time and objectivity. This card shows just that. A young man, his body changed by the struggles of life, sits peacefully. We see this perseverance within nature. Like trees that struggle to work their roots around obstacles, twisting and turning, deforming in order to sustain life, they become stronger for their limitations. His serenity does not come from relying on his external imperfections, but from his internal view of the world. A small sparrow rests upon his shoulder, drawn to his inner peace. Isn't that beautiful? So yeah, so that is how the guidebook is set up, and it does have at the very end, go down to the end, there are two spreads here. One is called Revealing Truth spread, and the other is a shadow spread. So we'll take a look at that after we look at the cards. So it comes in a beautiful tuck box. Let me put these away. Comes in a beautiful tuck box with, I think this is the Truth card, where she's holding her heart in her hands, literally. And then the Spirit Heals card on the back by Anna Christina Torian, what she says on the front, Oracle of Echoes, copyright 2016, because she's, you know, self-published this. So it's a tuck box. And then the cards are inside and are shrink wrapped, which is nice. Let me look at this butcher knife I have on my reading table. Isn't this hilarious? It's a cheese knife. I think it was my grandmother's, but it has made its way onto my, to open up boxes, but I do be very careful with it. I just think it looks hilarious. Okay. Put that away. So here we have the beautiful cards. Look at the backing. So the backing is absolutely stunning in reds and black. They feel really great. They feel like a matte. They're not glossy. There's like a matte to them. Here is the Dreams of Gaia, which is a large tarot. I don't really think that's probably helpful unless you have that. Let me grab. Here's a Llewellyn tarot. It's the exact same width of a Llewellyn tarot. It's just a little bit taller. So it's basically a tarot size deck, which is quite lovely. I don't even know if this was the first one or this must have been the last one. It has a great cardstock inside of it, but we thought maybe it was going to be black on the edges, which I'm going to blacken the edges because it's going to look amazing. But it has like a black core in the cards, whatever that means. All I can say is that they feel like that wonderful silky matteness that to me is a perfect card. So let us go ahead and zoom in. There are 51, I believe, cards. Are these? I don't think they're numbered. No. I believe there's 51 cards here. Let's zoom in. I'm so excited to be holding these after this journey with Anna, which has been so much fun. I just feel like it's just an amazing way to have gone about this whole process, right? People being able to watch the cards being coming out of her in this gorgeous expression of creativity, and you know the way that she opened it up to people to give suggestions of what cards they were looking for. It's just a whole thing. And then, like I said, when she first got her first copy, we got on Facebook video and went through each of the cards, compared it to the original painting. It was just so much fun to do, just kind of go along on this journey with her. So I'm clearly a huge fan here. I was a huge fan though before. Obviously there's a card in here about Michael, so I'm extremely biased about this deck. However, I was extremely biased about this deck before then, because from the very first images I was just completely drawn into this deck and just felt, and I could see the light and the shadow being played, and so it was definitely exactly what I was looking for in an Oracle deck. And you know that I have such a hard time with Oracle decks being, just that lovely balance of light and shadow and not being too all-encompassing. So when of affirmation. And so when I saw this, I was just really sucked in. So here we have the kind of artist card, I guess you call these, the Oracle of Echoes by Anna Torian, with, again, the absolutely stunning back in reds and blacks and yellows. It's just gorgeous. So let's take a look at the cards. Of course, I've seen these because, like I said, we went through them with the originals to see how the color was going to, translate into the printing and such. It was just a lot of fun. So here we have Awaken the Inner Force. You can see that they are borderless with just a black band along the bottom showing with the title of the card on it. And so you just can see this energy here of this kind of power that is inside. There's this inner strength, this inner power. It's beautiful with the dragon. I really do like the keywords too, because I feel like you can go so many different places with many of these keywords. This was one of the first cards I saw. This is the journey. We have the ship here with the person. It's just, I just fell in love with this image. There's a couple of them. I don't know if they're in order as she painted them. It kind of looks like it might be. I don't know. We'll see as we go. These are earlier ones for sure. And I just saw this and I was just so, I love both. Like, so in Lenormand decks, I always look to the ship cards first. And so this just kind of, I just love this card. It's just beautiful, simple movement, color. It's just beautiful. This I know was one of the first ones. This is transformation. You can just see almost, you can almost see this light in where the brain light would be. You see connections going off. You see the flower right here changing and morphing. It's just a beautiful, I don't know. It's not abstract because there is definitely figures in all of them, but there is a beautiful abstract quality that reminds you of like soul cards or those types of cards, even somewhat to do with a little bit like Margaret Peterson tarot cards. So it's that, but there's more concrete figures, I think, in this one than those, which is, I think, why I love it so much, because there are figures, but then you do still have that little bit of that quality of an abstract image that's so beautiful. So this one is creativity. I feel like this one should just be expressive of the whole process of her making this deck, because it literally, she started, because when she told me she finished the last one, she looked back to see when she had posted the first images, and it had been 5 weeks. Like, she did 51 paintings, which, you know, I showed you that at the beginning of this video. I don't know what size that painting is, but, you know, she did 51 full size of these paintings in 5 weeks. That's just insane. And I think that this card in particularly shows that. Like, that should have her image on it, because she just really just kind of exploded all of these energies and these pieces of artwork out there. So I think that's an amazing card. Just visually, it's beautiful. It speaks of creativity with all the different colors, and I think it's really representative of the deck, at least from the outside looking and watching the process. Here we have spirit guides, so you can see the faces up here. So these can, you know, the idea of the people that are watching over you, the anything that you're going to tap into energetically of however you see guides or guardians or all those types of things. So you can just sort of see this city here, and there's almost like a bubble around it, and then you see these figures up above, which is really gorgeous. Here we have sorrow. So I do like, you can see how that's quite different, right, in looking from the other. And yet the palette, if you look at the colors, it all just blends together and works really well. So it's a very cohesive feeling. And what else is there to say? It depicts sorrow. And that's one of the reasons that even before, like I said, even before she did Michael's card, I was obsessed with and following her images on this deck, because it's not all, you know, get your pom-poms out and jump up and down. There are what we, you know, think of as light and shadow cards, because life isn't all roses and balloons and pom-poms, right? It's a lot of other things, and this deck really reflects that in a beautiful way. Here we have a warning. I mean, how awesome is that? You've got the raven here, or crow, or I would say it's probably a raven, which is, you know, they stand for messages. And then you've got this skull kind of, it's in the sky, but you can clearly see this aspect of a skull. So it's that sort of warning to, you know, heads up to pay attention. There's something that you might need to be focused on. And so it's a gorgeous, gorgeous warning card. I love that creepy skull. Here we have spirit heals, so you kind of almost have this universe. It looks like a universe of stars that's wrapping their arms around this person that's over here. It's just beautiful. And look at, even as she's like, this would be her arm, and as she is hugging back, right, she's almost kind of melding into universe. That shows that beautiful connectiveness. It's just, her artwork is just gorgeous. Absolutely. Look at the beauty. Look at the butterfly. Now, again, I've seen all these multiple times because we went through them with a fine-tooth comb to look at the colors and things. And I will say that, you know, from what I could see over, obviously, the webcam, the printing did an amazing job picking up all the color variations of the original. Well, obviously, I have the original. When we get to Michael's, I do have the original to compare that with, but the printer did an amazing job with the color. It's not going to be 100%, but it was there, and you could see look at all the different gradations of green here. So here we have rest, and we have the butterfly on the rest, but just look at those wings. Let me see if I can move it up closer. There's just a lot of different color that's within them. Ooh, look at this one. This is balance. I know somebody had requested this, not somebody that I know who it was, but it's in the tree pose, for sort of the yoga tree pose, and the idea of balance, which is about balance, right? But look, I love that you have the sun and the moon in the person's hands. But then even with all this kind of energy going off and out, it almost gives that. It looks like there's like a shadow, to me, because I love trees, and this is the tree pose. It looks like there's almost a shadow of a tree in colors behind it. Absolutely beautiful. I love the inclusion of the sun and the moon. Here we have Beyond the Veil. Oh, look at, see the eye here? You have to look. See, you can see the eye. There's a bit of the nose. This almost looks like there's a bird right here, but you can see through it. It's like you're, in the eye there, the idea of sight, you can see birds in the background, but it's like you're looking through, and so you're seeing more than what, you know, we would see in this normal world. You're kind of seeing through the veil, like what you would think of at Samhain. So that's pretty awesome. She did an amazing job. Here we have Gift. Flower, you know, very simple. So they can be quite intricate. Like, look at the dragon that we already looked at, the creativity, the spirit guides, but then they can be really simple, like the butterfly that we saw with Rust, or with this one, it's just a simple flower, but it's a gift, and the color is just gorgeous. Just so good. Look at the breakthrough. Look at that card. Look at the use of color. So clearly you've got a woman that's like breaking through the surface of the water, but look at the color and the movement. Oh, her hair, just that straight line. She's just cutting through the water. It's absolutely gorgeous. Look at that chaos. I mean, that's like it's like a tornado in this person's brain. Look at that. That is very often what my brain looks like. Let's be realistic here. But again, that's what I'm talking about, is that in a world in which many of our oracle decks are, everything is wonderful, everything is sunshine, oh yes, you are just where you need to be, oh yes, the world is just as you see it. You know, in a world of that doesn't really reflect people's real life, which is very often our brains looking like this, that's what I think is the real strength and beauty about this particular deck. This was one of the first cards that I saw when I realized she was making an oracle deck and started to see her putting them out. It's called Create Space, and you have that sense, you know, we talk a lot about holding space for yourself and holding space for other people that are in difficult situations, and that this is so beautifully reflective, very meditative. She's in that sort of meditation pose, even with her arms and her legs crossed. And it's just, and it's pushing back. See all the flame here? And she's making space. And that can be positive, as in things are difficult and the flames are lapping, but you're creating space. Or it can even just be creative energy. Just sometimes there's so much going on. It's not necessarily negative things, but you still need to create space for yourself. That's a gorgeous card. Then we have Deceit, which is very Four of Coinsy, that sense of, or even the mouse in Lenormand, that sense that something is being taken. There's something being stolen away. Look at his little face. He looks like he's up to no good, and he's got all this clasped in his hands. Here we have the Death card, which is literally, look at, there's a branch there, and it's like a butterfly cocoon, but a human form is coming out of the butterfly cocoon. So that very much that idea of the transformative understanding of the word death, that there is something that has ended because it needs to in order for there to be transformation. I love this. I know, you know, this is one of the cards where I would probably not pay as much attention to the title, which is, it does work for it with depression. And if you read the guidebook on it, it certainly makes sense. But this can, and you can see her kind of clasping her face. But I also really like that she's in that child's pose in yoga. That is a very kind of coming back to center when you're feeling really, and you can see all the stuff kind of weighing down just color wise. So it definitely works for depression. But I also get there's other things I think that you can do with this if it comes up in a reading. It's quite beautiful. Here we have the God Speaks. So in this deck, I had seen the Goddess right here. Here's the Goddess Speaks. And I was like, oh, is there going to be a God Speaks? Because you need to have, you know, a lot of our oracle decks are very much divine feminine, and you really don't get, because you know, it's kind of that kickback from there being so much masculine sense of God that you don't get the so there's a kickback for that. So a lot of the oracle decks are very heavily goddess oriented, and it's like, okay, well, if you're going to have a deck, you know, it needs to be balanced, which most people don't. She's like, oh yeah, already taken care of. And so look at God Speaks. That is so gorgeous. Look at the light coming out from his throat. And then same thing with her. You can see the light coming out here. So you have masculine and feminine energy there, which is nice. Discord, look at that. And there's a whole story about this in the guidebook, which is from a myth. So you have the pomegranate here, and you can see this faces, and they're fighting, you know, they're arguing. And it comes off of a mythological story that she talks about in the guidebook. The guidebook, I read the one for Michael's card, but they're all about that length. They're about a paragraph, but they're fantastic. Definitely take the time to read the guidebook, because it is really sweet. As I said, I don't often use guidebooks for oracle decks because I just like to go with whatever comes up, but it's well worth, at least somebody's taken the time to paint this and write something. So I always do like to at least read it through one time, and then you can go off and kind of do your own thing. But that looks like discord. You don't have to know any story behind this to know those people are arguing. And there's Michael's card. Imperfect Beauty. Look at that. I mean, it doesn't look any different, because I'm sitting here, I've got the original painting, and I just think the printers did a really great, and obviously some of that's her, because she scanned them and then tweaked all the images to get the colors right for printing, and she just did an amazing job. You can just see all the detail, even though it's clearly a lot smaller than the original. You can see all the waves, you can see the seagulls, you can see the little, I mean, it's just beautifully done. I just love the fact that there is a card out there with Michael on it, and people will be using it, and it's just beautiful. Oh, look at Father Time. Father Time is gorgeous. There's also a crone. Now, she's got these in a specific order, but she does have a crone energy. I know, don't look, because I won't do that. But there's a crone. So all of the cards tend to have a balance. So here's an older man, which is Father Time. And so then there's an older woman card with the crone in it. It's another thing that I love to see. Look at Fear with the snake running down her back. That is so very creepy. Nobody, and I look at the position of her arms. They're just all like twisted. And she is scared because she's got a snake running down her back. That gives me the shivers. So yeah, I mean, that speaks of fear, though. You can see the colors of red. Most people are a little, I mean, there are people that love snakes, but a lot of people having a snake on their back would be an epitome of something, a situation that, like a tarantula on your back or something like that, that's going to evoke that sense of fear. So that works really well. I love this healing card because you just have this little teeny sprout of plant that's just starting to grow. It's in a kind of barren landscape. You don't see a lot of color, but now the healing has begun, and there's that little bit of growth that's going to end up growing. Here we have Inner Strength, which is gorgeous because you've got this lion, right, that a human being is climbing out of. You know, a lot of times you would kind of see that the lion within, but instead we have the person climbing out of the lion's mouth, which is pretty cool. Kind of makes you think of like Jonah and the whale, or Pinocchio being stuck in the whale, and kind of that journey, because that all is metaphorical, of course, for the journey, that kind of inward journey and coming out, and so that's pretty awesome. home. There's a simple house, but so look at the eye on the top of the house. I love that card too. Here we have look within. We've got sort of a spiral going on. And then here, this one feels very soul cards. It's not the same thing, but it's got that feeling of more abstract, but you can still see what's going on. It's like going inward, and you can see it within the swirls of the card in a gorgeous way. I love this one. Again, very simple. It's just use of color. It's almost like an ocean of water, or else there's clouds right here, and then this bright spot in the middle. It's very similar feeling to the healing, where you just see that spot of light that's kind of breaking through the black. And so you have that sense of hope, that light, bright light that is like, okay, yeah, it's difficult right now, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So that's really cool. I love this one. I think this is one that my friend Annika had requested. It's called Let Go, and you can see the pier that's going off into the water and actually getting covered by the water. Absolutely gorgeous. That's one of my favorite cards too. Look at this one, Limitless. She's just growing. It's that, again, has a tree-like quality where she's just literally growing. Her arms are thrown wide open, and then it's like all like growing up and out from that. There is no limit to where she can go. So gorgeous. Look at, I love this because look at the sun is winking. So there is a sun energy and a moon energy as well. Back here I saw the moon. Look at the moon card. So it's not called the sun card, but it's the same thing. It's a giant sun. So you've got both of those, the lunar and the solar, or the lunar and the solar energy there as well, which a lot of people, including myself, like to work with. So that is another pairing that's really gorgeous. Here we have protection. You can literally see this figure enveloping and protecting the figure that's within. Just so stunning. Look at this. Self-involved. This is that idea. And again, this is what the other one with the depression one that I feel like you can go so many places even without having the keyword there, because you can see she's in a bubble and she can't see outside of her own problems. You can see there's stuff that's going on around it, but she can only see her own circumstances. And a lot of times we find ourselves in that situation where when we're having a difficult time, the world contracts down to this bubble and we can't see outside of it to see other people might be having trouble or whatever, even the good things that are going on around, because we're stuck in this bubble. So very beautiful. I think Avalon had requested that one. Here's one called Self-Sabotage, where we can see like this. I love that we have the infinity sign over their head, that, you know, he's got so much unlimited potential here, but then part of him is just kind of trying to sabotage his going forward. He's clinging to the rocks, like trying to hold on. So you can see he's literally split in the middle. Here's the Ancestor card. This is so gorgeous because it's the roots of a tree, but then you can see faces in the roots. So all your connections, all your roots, all your past, your family coming from the past, your ancestors, as it said. Absolutely gorgeous representation of that. Here we have the shadow self. I mean, it speaks for itself. Look, we've got the self, right? And then inside you've got the shadow self. And look at all these like black things. It's just kind of curling up around, and it just looks like not good. Like this needs to be cleaned up. Here is the other one that kind of went, she did this around the same time she did Michael's card. So we have a little bird, and it's called Time to Soar. This was one of the first ones too. It's called Symbiosis, and we can see that sense of connection. It almost makes the yin and the yang sign, not in coloration, but you see that active, receptive energy, the yin and the yang energy, the masculine and the feminine energy, however you differentiate those, the active and passive or receptive energies. And it's just, you've got that going on in that connective. When it's all in balance, it's not about one or the other being better. It's about those two energies. Your yin and yang is about those energies working together to create balance. Here's the crone that goes, well, it doesn't necessarily go with, but it complements the Father Time one that I was talking about. So you have the gorgeous crone energy, which is that idea of the wise old woman. And so look at that. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Here we have the Lovers card, and you can literally see that their bodies are connected here, right? They're sharing energy. Their energy is going back and forth between the two of them. It's a balanced energy going to between the two of them. It's not one person feeding off the other. It's that sense of complete balance in a gorgeous visual way. Look at this. So that's the beginning. That's the top of the deck. Trust. I couldn't remember what it was called, but she is holding her heart in her hand. So, I mean, that's a beautiful expression of trust, because it's just like, okay, I'm trusting that you're not going to smash my heart, right? So that's what you got on the box, top of the box as well. It's gorgeous. Here we have vulnerability. So we have literally a person in the egg, and she's vulnerable. But the only way that she can come out, you know, and be born is to put yourself in a vulnerable position. That's a gorgeous card. Here we have loss, which is so beautiful. Okay, so it's almost like there was a painting, and then the wind or some water or something is just brushing it right off the side of the card. Here we have intuition, which is gorgeous. Eyes closed, but the third eye is open. You've got the crescent moon at the forehead, and look at, you've got stairways going up into the doors. That sense of, you know, using your other senses than your normal senses. That's why we have the eyes closed there. It's gorgeous. Here we have abundance, very Empress from Tarot, Mother Earth. You've got the, you know, just literally plants and flowers falling off of her skirt. She's almost like she's got the cornucopia that she's holding, full of fruits and plants and things, and a plant growing out of her hand. So you have that beautiful sense of abundance there. And here we have decisions. It's like the path card, which I love. So you've got two different paths in the wood. And look at, there's a little bird up here. If you take a moment before you choose the road, you might be able to get a little message about which is the way to go. But I love having these kind of cards, because you can find this, you know, in the deck, almost like a Lenormand deck, and then see what cards on either side and say, okay, here's some information on either, if you're going to go this way or you're going to go that way. So I like cards like that, where you can find that, find the card in the deck and see what card are alongside of it to come up with, instead of doing a spread. So I really love that card there. Whenever I do Lenormand, I always, if I'm doing a grand tableau, I'm always going to look to the paths card, because that always has, okay, there's some important information to get about decisions to be made. So I love that being there. Oh, look at the courage. Look, it's like, what's the girl from Brave? Meridia, I think, with she doesn't have red hair, but she's, you know, just like her, all grown up with her bow and her arrow, and she's just sighting down the front of the arrow, and she's got the courage to pull and let loose, because it almost looks like she's, you know, she's gone through the full draw, and now she's letting loose, which is what, you know, courage is all about. And then we have the moon card, which I kind of already showed you with the sun. Love it. It's shadowed. You've got the full moon there. You can go so many directions with that. That sense of half-light, but as well as the moon in terms of the going deep and inward with all this darkness here at the bottom. So there's a lot you can do with that. And then the last card is Look to Nature, and it has this gorgeous tree. And look at, there's a little lizard here. Kind of looks like there's little nests up in the tree. That's just the idea of nature, and the image of the card speaks to that really beautifully. So that is, let me zoom out, because you know this is the all-important thing, is how's it going to shuffle? It's going to shuffle divine, because look at, or you can't see it, but it's that beautiful, almost perfect silky matte cardstock. But let's... Oh yeah, see, that's just made to shuffle. I know you people have heart attacks because I rifle shuffle, but look at that. You can hear it. I should have left it zoomed in so you could see that. That's a perfect rifle shuffle. Yes. Yes, I am definitely approving. I'm going to blacken the edges, and I will stop the video and black the edges, because you're going to want to see it, and then show it to you, and then just quickly show you the spreads, which is really nice when a deck will do a spread that's very specific to the deck itself. For oracle cards, I'm generally, you know, you've seen a million of my walkthroughs with oracle decks. I'm usually doing a 3-card draw or something along that nature with oracle decks. I'm not usually doing 6 or 7 or 8 cards unless it's a tarot reading, but I like that she provided those spreads so you can have them. So we'll take a quick look at them, but first I will, these shuffles, so amazing. So I will come back and, well, it'll be the second for you after I blacken all these edges, although I'm a little concerned that I don't want it to create a frame. You know, if you black edges, you always have to be careful, and usually it ends up looking really good, but see, this is borderless. So if you're not, you want to have, I'm going to have to text Otzi and see, you want to have, she's the queen of backing or edging, we know. If you want to have, you want to have the back face you with a chisel point, because then the chisel ends up kind of going like this, and so then anything that you might get of a line is going to come onto the backing instead of at the front. Now sometimes it just ends up looking really gorgeous on a card, and I'm definitely going to do it because look at how rich and vibrant this is, and rich and vibrant this is. For me, you know, she knows me, so she knows I'm going to do it. So, but just be careful when you do it that you, again, I'm pretty sure, keep the backing to you and just make sure the chisel's going this way if you don't want it to show up on the front. It is a very thin line, which looks like you've seen it with my Rackham Oracle. I actually did it on purpose to do that so that you can see it on the front, and it looks amazing. So it doesn't, and it wouldn't look horrible on this, but it is going to give it a little bit of a border. We're just talking a hairline, so if you don't want to do that, you have to be careful when you do your edging. So I'll be back in a second to you and show you what this looks like edged out. Okay, so this is with it trimmed in black with a sharp, big, fat chisel. King size chisel tip is really important to get a good edge, in my opinion. So you can see that I have edged mine now in black, and they look amazing, I think. Again, it looked amazing beforehand, but sometimes it just needs that to finish it, right? So let's take a quick look at one of the spreads in here. This one is called Revealing Truths Spread. So this says that this spread is designed to help you uncover elements currently hidden in your life, at the same time revealing what the divine has planned for you based on the choices you've made thus far. Shuffle the cards as per usual, and then lay out 6 cards, 3 and then 3. So the first one is the known, the second is the unknown, the third is the seeker, what I really wish to discover and know, and then the bottom goes to the divine charge, the future, and a rogue card that shows that the current situation can change if you choose. I like the choice installed here. If you choose to embody this card. If it's not something you like, you obviously wouldn't choose to do that. So you would split your cards and go 1, 2, and 3. Let's get these kind of centered, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Ooh, love that. So this is the known. This is the aspect of my life that I am presently aware of. Yes. Yes, indeed. We can just say yes to that. That's my brain. That's my brain. The unknown is an element in my life that is currently hidden from you, which is my creativity. It's certainly not manifest at the moment because there's so much chaos in my brain. I'm not manifesting creativity. I am in certain ways, but not in the full ways in which I would like to be doing so. This is the seeker, me. What I wish to discover and know is abundance, and probably abundance of creativity, right, because of that card that's in the unknown. And then the divine charge, this is what the God and Goddess have chosen to bestow, what this, your sense of divine has chosen to bestow, which is understanding of trust. And that's certainly something may be bestowed on me, but I certainly haven't fully embraced, right, trusting of the universe yet. This is the future based on my current path, which is balance, which is pretty lovely seeing as I have chaos here. And I do feel like I'm taking steps to try to remedy that, so I like to see that the future card is balance. And this is how the situation can change if I choose to embody the crone. So I kind of look at that as also, this is how things are. This, if I embody this card, that's going to obviously help begin to get to balance, right? Which is where my future is lying. So I really like that spread. I think that's really lovely, and actually quite useful. I'm going to definitely do a few of these with this deck and get a feel for it, but I just wanted you to look how gorgeous it looks laid out, right? That's just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful deck. So kudos to Anna. She did an amazing job. We can see her creativity just spilled out over all of these cards. We can, and there's you know, forever. This means the world to me. And again, I'm going to be talking about this in another video, so I'm not going to go in depth. But it means the world to me that the primary lesson that I learned, one of the primary lessons that I learned through my experience of being Michael's mother, is one that's going to be in people's hands to be helping them and helping them help other people. That means so incredibly much to me. It's almost impossible to explain how much that means to a mother who's lost their son and wants the message that he has to move on and to continue on. And this is a way for that to happen. And so I just cannot thank Anna enough for that amazing, amazing thing that she did. So there we have it. This has been a look at the Oracle of Echoes. Again, this is on pre-sale right now. I purchased mine through the pre-sale. I just, you know, been working with her a bit and begged for my purchase to be one of the ones that were sent as a tester, because they were perfectly fine. So yours will be coming if you pre-ordered yours, and they are still up for pre-order. And yeah, I cannot. Yeah, am I biased? 100%, but I'm biased because of how gorgeous this deck is. So there you have it. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.